Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. It is with a great honor and privilege I stand before you today to introduce one of my mentors, and similar to a big brother, you know, the one that give you a headache sometimes. But this gentleman that's going to grace this stage on this evening is one of the most sought after speakers and trainers in the U.S. and abroad. He is the founder and CEO of the #1 speaking platform in the U.S. and a partner with the Miss Corporate America competition out of Orlando, Florida. He has trained well over 330,000 leaders, whether it was a executive or mid-level manager. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome Dr. Shawn Fair to the stage.
How's everybody doing? Everybody doing pretty good? So, I've been tasked to talk about how do you create great experiences in your business. Now, I can talk about it, but I would rather just tell you a story about it, and you can kind of figure it out through the story I'll tell. Now, I would like to come to an agreement. Can you guys agree to participate in the story where you feel comfortable? Can we agree to that? Okay. I'm going to take you back to 1990. Now, when I was in college, I leased my very first car, and my very first car was the Dodge Shadow. How many of you guys remember the Dodge Shadow? Ain't no sense you looking at me like that. I said that was my first car. I enjoyed that car. I loved that car because it was my very first car. 2 years later, I graduated college. I got a decent job, you know. I wanted to upgrade from the Dodge Shadow to the Dodge Neon, nitro package, fog lights. That's an upgrade. And I had that car for 2 years. I enjoyed that car. I loved that car because it was my second car. 2 years later, I get a promotion. And by the way, this is a very true story. I went back to my favorite salesperson. Her name was Lisa. She had bright red hair. She was absolutely gorgeous. And I told her I wanted the brand new Sebring. It had just came on the lot. And I wanted the drop dead price on the car. And she did just that for me. And I had that car for 2 years. I enjoyed that car. I loved that car because it was my third car. 2 years later, I go back to my favorite salesperson. Her name was what? Just want to make sure you're paying attention to my story. And I said, Lisa, I want the brand new 300M white car tan interior. It had just got on the lot, and I don't want to go back and forth like we always do. I want you to go and tell your manager that Shawn Fair has been here 4 times in 8 years. And I want to drop that price on the car because this time, I'm going to do something very different. This time, I am going to shop around, but I'm going to give you the last word. So she goes and talks to her manager. She comes back, she's fired up, I'm fired up. She gives me an amazing price on the brand new 300M white car tan interior. As a matter of fact, the price was so good, I almost went against my word, which was what? Shop around. So what do I do next? Now, I want you guys to know that none of my questions are going to be rocket science today. I went to go shop around. So I went to Chrysler dealership B, and I told Chrysler dealership B that Chrysler dealership A gave me this price on a brand new 300M white car tan interior, and ma'am, if you can beat the price, I'm going to do business with you. Now she goes and talks to her manager. She comes back, she's fired up, I'm fired up. She gives me an amazing price on the brand new 300M white car tan interior. But then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to think about this for a moment. I'm going to get back with you. So what do I do next? I'm going to Chrysler dealership C. And I told Chrysler dealership C that Chrysler dealership B gave me this price on a brand new 300M white car tan interior. And sir, if you can beat the price, I'm going to do business with you. Now he goes and talks to his manager. He comes back, he's fired up, I'm fired up. He gives me an amazing price on the brand new 300M white car tan interior. But then I thought about it for a moment. I'm trying to figure out how come I could have got this price the first time. I'm starting to feel a certain way about automotive salespeople. I have come to the conclusion I don't like them. So what do I do next? I'm going to Chrysler dealership D. Now, I want you guys to understand that I've already exhausted all the Chrysler dealerships in the Detroit metropolitan area. This one is about an hour and 15 minutes away, but I'm going to go out there anyway because I knew for a fact I was going to get a better deal on the car. So I'm in my car, I'm driving, I'm listening to my music, I'm having a good time all by myself, and about an hour and 45 minutes later, I come to the realization that I'm lost. But the one thing that was noticeable to me in this rural area was this massive Lexus dealership. So I pull into the parking lot. I get out the car, I walk through the door. You guys know what happens next. The salesperson comes waltzing up to you, introducing himself. Hello, my name is so-and-so, what's your name? I said, my name is Shawn Fair. Well, Mr. Fair, I was just wondering, what brings you into Lexus today? I said, man, I'm looking for the Chrysler dealership, and I was just wondering if you can point me in the right direction. He said, Mr. Fair, that's not a problem. See, if you go out the parking lot, you make a right-hand turn, you go a mile down the road, there's a street with no street sign on it. See, the Chrysler dealership is on that street, but it says 100 yards off the block, so if you look to your left, you still wouldn't see it. I said, man, I must have passed by the street with no street sign on it about 15 different times, but because I didn't see the dealership, I didn't bother to make the left-hand turn. Now, I want you to understand, I was relieved at that particular moment. So I'm walking out the door, and I'm minding my own business, by the way. 15 steps later, he comes trotting behind me. Mr. Fair, I was just wondering, what were you going to buy at the Chrysler dealership? I said, man, I'm about to go buy that brand new 300M white car tan interior. Do you know what this man said to me? I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, Mr. Fair, that's a gorgeous car. It's got a lot of bells and whistles on it, and the price point is absolutely amazing. Now, what was he doing? I'm going to tell you what he was doing. He was buttering me up, and you guys know what's coming next. Well, Mr. Fair, since you're already here, I was just wondering if you could spend a few minutes with me so I could tell you a little bit about Lexus. Now, what did I say to him? Why did I say yes? What was that? That was reason number 5. What else? That was reason number 3. That was the very first reason. He addressed my immediate concern, which was where was the Chrysler dealership. That's the number 1 reason I spent time with him. So we get ready to walk back into the dealership. We're having some small talk. I'm getting to know him a little bit. He's getting to know me. And as soon as we walk in the door, he says something like this. Mr. Fair, I got to be honest with you. Now, you guys know when someone starts off a phrase, well, I got to be honest with you, something negative is coming behind that. He said, Mr. Fair, when you walked in, I was right in the middle of doing some paperwork. We short staffed today, and I was just wondering if you can give me about 10 minutes, and I'll be right back with you. So, I gave him the look. And it was a deep pause for a moment. This is right around 1995 time frame. But then he said, but Mr. Fair, in the meantime, I would like you to go into this corner of the dealership. There's some beer, wine, chip, and dip. And over in this corner, there's some internet access. I want you to just go over and help yourself. So what do? I went over and I had some beer, wine, chip, and dip. And I'm using the internet, just kind of passing the time. He comes back to me 15 minutes later. What's the problem? He's 5 minutes late. He said, Mr. Fair, I apologize. It took me a little bit longer than I expected. But I noticed that you're enjoying the beer, wine, chip, and dip. And I see that you're using the internet access. I want to let you know that when you become a Lexus customer, you can come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and enjoy the beer, wine, chip, and dip on us. I said, you don't say. He said, Mr. Fair, if you were to buy a Lexus car today, what car would you buy? Well, at that time, the GS400 with the bubble lights was real hot. And my first question to him was what? How much does the car cost, sir? He said, Mr. Fair, we're going to get to that in just a moment. So he takes me behind these double doors. And behind the double doors is the mechanic's shop. Now, I'm looking around. I like to pay attention. There's no oil spills on the floor. The place is just spotless. The mechanics, they walking around in these nice white overcoats, like when you go to the dentist. They just clean. He says, Mr. Fair, I have something I need to share with you. He says, at Lexus, we only hire the best of the best. As a matter of fact, we only hire our mechanics from Toyota, which is our parent company. He says Chrysler, Ford, or GM will hire a Chrysler, Ford, or GM employee, and they will fix a Chrysler, Ford, or GM car. But at Lexus, we only service Lexus, which means we are the very best at what we do. I said, you don't say. How much does the car cost if I'm asking? He said, Mr. Fair, we're going to get to that in just a moment. So he's taking me down this long hallway. Now, he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's not saying anything. I'm starting to feel slightly uncomfortable. And he finally stops. He says, Mr. Fair, do you hear anything? I says, no. He says, right behind us is a Lexus car. I says, I can see that. He says, this car has about 300,000 miles on it. I said, that's great. He says, this particular car just so happens to be turned on. He says, when you own a Lexus car, Mr. Fair, when you bring it in every 90 days for service, your car will have the same longevity and sound just like this car. I said, you don't say. But how much does the car cost is what I keep asking you. He said, Mr. Fair, we're going to get to that in just a moment. Now, back in those days, they had a guy named Jimmy. Now, Jimmy is the guy that would bring around the test car. I couldn't wait to test this puppy out. As soon as I get into the car, guess who jumps in the car with me? The salesperson. And the first thing he does is he cranks up the music to let me know that it has a great sound system. I says, I get it. He says, Mr. Fair, I was just wondering, how much time does it take for you to get back and forth to work? Now, at the time, I was living in the Detroit area. My job was in Cleveland. Now, he's doing the math on this. Well, Mr. Fair, that's 3 hours going this way, and that's 3 hours going that way. Well, that's 3 plus 3. Mr. Fair, that's 6. How many times do you make that trip over the course of the week? I says, I make that trip approximately 4 times. He says, Mr. Fair, that's 4 times 6, that's 24. He's talking to me like I don't understand how to do arithmetic. He says, I have something else I'd like to share with you, Mr. Fair. He says, we have the best engineered engines of all the automakers out there today, which means you have a smooth ride for the 24 hours that you've been driving back and forth in your new Lexus vehicle. Now, I'm almost done with the story. Before I can get out my mouth, we pull back into the dealership. He says, Mr. Fair, do you know what this building is? I says, no, what is it? He says, this is where we wash the Lexus cars. He says, when you own a Lexus car, Mr. Fair, you can come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we will wash your car at absolutely no charge. Oh, by the way, if you have a wife, girlfriend, or fiance who owns a Chrysler, Ford, or GM, we will wash the Chrysler, Ford, or GM for the simple fact that you own the Lexus. Now, we won't fix it, but we'll wash it. Oh, by the way, if you bring your car in and we're busy, we'll give you a Lexus loaner car for 2 hours, and when you come back, we'll have your car ready to go for you. Now, I'm done with the story. The point to this story is very simple. When I went to the Chrysler dealership, their only concern was what? It was the cost of the car. At Lexus, they shared more of their vision and created a vision for me. When you're building a business and you're trying to create wonderful and great experiences, you have to start off by having a great and wonderful vision. And a vision is a realistic and attainable and credible snapshot of your future. And within that vision, not only should you see yourself in it, but everyone that is necessary for you to build a business that creates wonderful experiences should be able to see themselves in it as well. A vision is designed to inspire not only you, but the people that are involved in your business, and is a guide for your direction. And the question that I have for everyone is that, do you have a vision that is expansive enough that when someone reads it, they're able to see themselves in it? Because if you're trying to create wonderful experiences and you have people that's working for you, if they don't see themselves in the vision, they work for you for one reason and one reason only, and that is for what? It's a paycheck. And if you have a bunch of people that's working for you for a paycheck, I can tell you those are the most difficult people to lead. But when they believe in the views and the value of the organization, they take pride in what you take pride in. They take pride in functioning and operating with your customers. They take pride in getting up in the morning and doing the right things, right? They take pride in hitting all of the initiatives and the objectives and the goals that you have for the organization. A vision is more than just something that you write, but it encompasses the goals, it encompasses objectives, and it encompasses the mission of the organization. And when all those things are in alignment, it allows not only you, but everyone in your organization to create great and wonderful experiences. So I encourage you to create great and wonderful experiences. When I created the Leadership Experience Tour, I paid close attention to the top 5 most fierce competitors that I had. And I paid to go into their conferences. And the reason that I went to their conferences is not to see how dysfunctional a conference was, because they all do great things at their conferences, but I went because I wanted to understand what didn't they do in their conferences, what holes could I fill for the people that I consider to be my target audience. And so the question becomes, what separates you from everyone that's in your business sector? And the more separators and the more dividers that you have between you and your competitors is another way for you to create great and wonderful experiences for your clients. One, I want to thank the Fluxx organization for considering me on this stage. When I think about the Fluxx Awards, I think about great and wonderful experiences. From the very first time that I interacted with them to this day, the communication was absolutely outstanding. If there was something that I need answered, they answered those questions in a very short period of time. The hotel itself is a world-class experience, and what they've put on has been absolutely amazing. And so when I think about world-class experiences, I think about this stage and the opportunity that was presented to me and also presented to you. And I leave you today is create wonderful experiences, not for just your clients, but also create great and wonderful experiences for your family members, your friends, your coworkers, and your peers.